Folks, here we are, and we're live. And we're live. Checking the levels, giving a minute for some folks to arrive today. Welcome to JY Live. Update on our Revolutions album completion project and a little show and tell today. We're officially, how about that? I want it to show. There. How's that without the mic stand being in the way? There we are on air. How about that? Here we go. On air. Waiting for some folks to arrive. I see people coming in. Say hello in the chat. Don't be shy. We're live at ko-fi.com/JYGTR. It's our Revolutions update page, people. We got show and tell today, and I got a new little friend. We'll see the little baby scorpion. We'll see Christina, the big girl, and then I got a new little baby. It's not a scorpion. But I was going to get scorpion food, and the girl gave me a little treat. So we'll show him off too. We got more albums to talk about today because everyone loved that. I saw you guys even sharing some of the albums on your social media, some of the stuff we talked about, which is pretty cool. So cheers and welcome to Sunday. I'll tell you what I'm drinking today. We're celebrating with some non-alcoholic Martinellis sparkling apple cider, people. Wake up and smell the apples. So first, let's talk about where we are today. Where are we? Where exactly are we today? Let's take a look, shall we? I'm going to come close to the camera. And I know when I leave the mic, the sound is sketch. So I'll just show, and then I'll come back and tell. So hang tight. You saw that, right? I know you saw that. So check it out. We're not even 15 days into 30 days, and we've already gotten ourselves nearly 60% there. I woke up this morning and 58% to our $2,000 goal. We got 2.5 songs to finish, actually. We got 2.5 songs to finish, actually. Let me rephrase that. 2 half-finished songs. Each song is mostly done. And I'll actually tell you what's going on. We got one song, Prodigal Son, that features Mark Morales on lead vocals from Sons of Texas. You should check out that band. Go check out their music video. It's called Baptized in the Rio Grande. Make a note to check that out after this little podcast here. It's not a podcast. It's a live stream. So used to 11 years of music without boundaries. Prodigal Son only needs, and I actually did some killer kind of Brian May stacking harmonies at the end of the tune right before we left for Columbia Kings of Thrash tour. But I got a middle solo to do, and it's pretty long. I'm working on that right now. And maybe before the second verse, there might be a couple other short solos somewhere in the song. But that's all I got to do is just guitar solos, and it's ready to mix, people. It's mix ready. Then another song featuring Mark Morales that's the first half is vocal and guitar, just a duo vibe, just he and I. And then the second half kicks in with a little bass drums and guitar solo action, a little shred and fade out. That song, the first half is done, the guitar and vocal section with just Mark and I is done. Right when Fred and Gabriel and I kick in with the jams, we're going to finish that right here, right downstairs. As you know, I'm now the Phantom of the Opera here at Space Brain Studios in Henderson, Nevada. We're right outside Las Vegas, people. It's literally, the strip is right that way. And I can see it when I take a walk out here. It's very beautiful to walk around here. But there's a buffer zone. Nice buffer zone. Takes me maybe 15, 20 minutes to get there. So it's just there when it's needed, but it's far enough away that I don't fall into the sinning. Vegas is great if you don't drink, gamble, or frequent prostitutes. It's a great place to be. And here I am on the outskirts. So let's talk about our Ko-fi a little more. 58%. I can't believe it, people. I just want to thank everybody so much. As a matter of fact, I can do it. I can do it to it right here as you witness me. Is this the thank you? Here we go. All right, everyone who contributes, and I see you guys talking in the chat, I'll go in there and look. If you got any questions, throw them down. Every one of the fine folks who contributes, whether it's $5, $50, $500, whatever you want to contribute, and I got a guy threatening to get us the rest of the way to the goal. I hope he comes through. He's it could possibly happen. He's a longtime Music Without Boundaries listener from Dayton, Ohio. And he saw my, I did a guitar clinic on sacred geometry and how I teach guitar on Zachary K. Hubbard's channel some time ago. And he saw that and he wrote me just a couple days ago and said, how much do you need to get to your goal? Because me and my partners at our company want to help you get there. So pray about that. If we get over our goal, we got more stuff we can do, like 25 exclusive vinyls just for you guys. But let's thank the fine folks whose beautiful names will appear on the new album cover, on the liner notes. Special thanks to the angels and friends who supported and made this album project possible. Let's start with my champion, my man, director of my forthcoming music video. Someday it will be released in the new movie, Return to Fear. It's a great horror movie coming soon as well. Michael Sarna, thanks, brother. Gerald Poole, need I say more? Lloyd Bonacci, Michael Barkless, Jim Rotundo, Jason Haxton, Jane Haxton, two angels to be sure, Michael Grobel, Pam Parks, we know you, Carolyn Jepson, I think Pam sent you here, Al Nelson, that's my old landlord when I used to live out in LA back in the day before the earthquake. Nice to see you're still keeping tabs. Scott Reese from Plow Zone Radio, bro. $200, man. Thank you so much. I think he was the first contributor. Devin Agner, my guitar student, bro, thank you. Brandon Keck, sometime Fred Aching drum tech on the Kings of Thrash tour. Just a cool all around cat. We were so happy to have him out on tour with us. I hope I say this cat's name right because I've been on his radio a couple times, a shuppletura times. Mike DeUlio. Did I do that right, Mike? And he's pals with my drummer buddy, Jeff Tatora, on tracks on this album. Two of them, Lightning Rising, the open track, drums and percussion, and In the Flesh, kicking it on the drums. Colleen Madden, thank you so much. Do I have to say your last name too? Colleen Madden Holt. Michelle Larson, this is a donation that came a while ago. She didn't donate during this album fund, but she donated $3,000. The night I did the Chameleon, which is the Brazilian album I played the entire album in its entirety on the radio show, and I talked about each song, gave some behind the music and color commentary, as it were. And I woke up the next morning. I think she liked the album so much. $3,000 in my Ko-Fi, people. That helped us get a long way. In previous songs on the record, we still got 2 to go, and that's what you're helping with. Chantel Anuski, my Canadian pal, thanks for contributing. Pete Richards, Walter Robinson, Jamie Lass. Now, this is a trip and you got a S and a Z right next to Lazio. Larry Steen, this is my roommate when I went to GIT, Musicians Institute, still keeping tabs on his old roomie and kicking into the cause. Tron Matheson, this cat does a lot of the digital art that you see, and it's not AI. He's been doing it for me long before AI. If you check the header with the song titles on my Ko-Fi page, he did that and many more, and I'm having him do some more theme stuff around the rEvolutions album. Donna Lee, cutie, thank you for contributing. Michael Grunder, Andy Lutska, Eric Nesbitt. This is I got to get this with this all the way from Japan. Masaki, first name is Fujihara. I think I got that right. Masaki Fujihara. Jim Stidman, my Canadian mate. He was at the KOT show and actually hung in his house for a while right when I arrived because my hotel wasn't ready. Very cool cat. Vincent Harden and Stacy Moores. They're storing a lot of my stuff in Kingman right now. I'll come get my stuff soon. I'm working on it, people. So thanks to each of you for contributing to the musical creative process. That this album would not exist without your care and support, and hopefully some more people right during this transmission will care and support with a capital $sign, because it takes a village to raise an artist this day and age. Think about that, people. With record companies caving in left and right, and just the whole way the Hollywood beast system, it's so corrupt. You don't even know. I can't live there. I barely want to even enter the state of California at this point in my life. It's a shit show in Cali, people. And if you've seen Idiocracy, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so that's our Ko-Fi update. What about it, people? Please, we're so close. 2 half songs to finish. That means a half of 2 songs we got to finish. 2 songs are halfway done. You know, the Bon Jovi song. So I think we can. I'm writing my solos to Prodigal Son right now. So as the money's coming in, I'm getting ready to go downstairs. And once the cash comes in sufficiently and I can pay my engineer, I'll move my amp that's sitting right there, my brand new Marshall JCM, the best Marshall on earth. Just scored it on the Kings of Thrash tour. And thanks to my friends at a certain music shop on the East Coast for that amp. I'll move it downstairs and we'll start rocking. And I'll get that song done. I'm really stoked about Prodigal Son. I'm stoked about, but Lost in Texas will be the last song I'm finishing, and it starts out with just Mark and I, and it's very poignant and tender, beautiful chords happening, and his singing's just forget about it. Little Alice in Chains vibes happening on this one, and a whole lot more. Real salt of the earth vocal. He wrote it about, I think, his cousin or one of his close family members passed away right when he was writing this song, and he's bleeding. His vocals are bleeding when he's singing this. And I didn't have the second half of the music, but thanks to all the inspiration from you fine folks, because it definitely energizes when you see all this money coming in and you realize people really care about the record. They're excited to hear it this day and age when people barely buy records anymore, although vinyl is having a resurgence. I'm going in the chat in the video, see if I can see your comment. Here I can see your comments. Cool. So I'll get in here. Let's see what we got. Purple Haze Tarot. Howdy. How you doing? Ethan, welcome. Thanks, people. Azori's your favorite band. My stance with the band and Dave. My stance with Dave isn't very positive, as you can imagine. And, you know, I think Megadeth is best listened to this days via Kings of Thrash. And I'll just leave it at that. How about that? So I can check in the chat. So if you got any questions, leave them, people. So yesterday, I'm so stoked because of the energy and the momentum. And I know I got to get this album done because you guys are contributing. I'm going to have the money to do it. Looks like we're going to make our goal. I didn't have the second half of Lost in Texas even written. It wasn't composed, but it came yesterday. It came. And it's so cool. The chords are so cool, so unusual. As a matter of fact, I posted a picture of the guitar, the acoustic guitar. I wrote it on acoustic guitar, even though it'll have acoustic and electric guitar. And it's right there, people. 7 minutes, 38 seconds of me playing the new second half. It's really cool. I'm so stoked about it. Some really unusual chords I found. And it's really beautiful, but heavy. It's a really soulful piece, Lost in Texas, Lost in Tejas. So I think that's a good update. You know the link. It's www.ko-fi, ko-fi, like hi-fi.com /JYGTR. I'm not a wino. This is not champagne. I'm not doing mimosas on a Sunday. I don't drink. Sparkling apple cider, people. Apple cider in the morning. So it's ko-fi.com /JYGTR. Even $5-10 helps. Just think about it. Do the math. I've got 10,000 plus, well over that on Facebook. If even 1,000 of those folks gave $10 each, do the math. We'd be getting a lot more than vinyl printed. We'd have some money for marketing. You know what I'm saying? Let's do some show and tell. What do you say? And then we'll get the Scorpions and my new little baby out. Right there's a little baby off camera. All right. So let's start here. And let me just explain momentito, por favor, before we dive into this show and tell. Everybody loved the whole top 10 desert. I did top 15 desert island albums the other day, and it went over so well. I saw people sharing the albums, talking about it on their social media, and sharing the live. If you missed the last live, you can check it out because it's still here under my lives on this very channel. I wanted to do it again, and although one part of our crowdfunding Ko-Fi Revolutions album campaign, album drive, I like album completion drive because it's like we're driving fast to the finish line. One part of course, we need to raise the money. We've got to have the funds. And this is the new business model. Google, is crowdfunding the new business model? Google it and it'll say, yes, it is the new business model for bands and artists this day and age. So, of course, we're trying to get used to this new way of doing business, this new business model in the music industry. And this is our first time trying that. And look how successful it already is. But that's not even the main reason why we're doing this. Of course, the money is critical. But even more than that, if we finish the album and no one buys it or knows about it or cares about it, what good is it, right? If I go drop it in a forest, will even the bears hear it? So the main the main mission of this whole Ko-Fi process is to educate you guys about the record, to bring you into the story, to get the narrative out there about all the things. Why is this album different? Why should you care to pay attention to this album and as opposed to the billion other albums released over this year and on Spotify and elsewhere? Well, I think I got some good case points for that, not the least of which we showed and told on the last outing with the $500 a tape, reel to reel analog tape I showed. When I started this album process over a decade ago, and it takes a little bit of time when you're trying to do it right. Rome wasn't built in a day. I began with the thesis, the hypothesis that we are analog creatures, and the more analog I can record this album, meaning on analog tape, old school, the way they used to do it in the 70s and before, the more it's going to touch people, because we're not digital creatures. We're not intended to input all this digital intel, the Wi-Fi, the 5, 6G, all the crazy stuff. You see all those weird camouflage towers they're putting out there. What's that all about, Alfie? We're analog creatures. We're meant to input analog info, and albums included. So I recorded this album as much as I could on analog, vinyl, old school, because not only just for the audio, but just the vibe of records. During this show and tell, hopefully I'm giving you a vibe of what Revolutions is about. A lot of these albums are in my DNA at this point. I've listened to them so much. These are albums from my early childhood and beyond. If you like any of these albums, and I invite you to check them all out, if anything about any of these albums moves you, if it's on your playing field of the stuff you appreciate, you're going to like Revolutions, because all this stuff is what Revolutions is about. Let me show you. I might have to get a little close here for some show and tell, but first off, the vibe of the musicians on my album. There's no posers allowed on this record, on my record, Revolutions. And there's some kind of Santana vibes on my record. Remember the cool instrumentals that actually got on the radio? Because it wasn't just a bunch of jacking off and noodling on the guitar. It was actually melodic, like Santana was playing the guitar like a vocal. And it was so hooky that radio actually played this album. But just how cool is this, the back of this cover? This gives you a vibe of the energy of Revolutions for sure. And I'm looking at these album covers as I'm doing my album art because I want the album art to be very 70s, very reflective of a group of real players like these guys. It's killer, right? That's how it's supposed to be done. I talked about this album last time. I got to talk about it again. And I even got more to show. Because for sure, if you like these, and this is so good, you got to have two. And I actually have two of this, but it's in storage. Vincent Stacy's house. The cover on this one's better. My album Revolution is definitely not a metal album, although Prodigal Son, the track we're working on, it is metal. There's metal vibes, there's hard rock vibes on the album. There's hard rock vibes on these albums, but there's a whole lot more than that. Tommy Bolin, just such a great songwriter, composer, just singer, all around musician. Just what a tragedy we lost him, and that not enough people know about him. So I'd highly recommend getting two copies of this and checking these both out. Definitely in the Revolutions vibes. Tommy also replaced Joe Walsh on this record. This is a great album, people. If you've only heard like Funk 49 James Gang and Joe Walsh era James Gang, you're going to want to check out James Gang Bang. It's amazing. I'm going to approach a little bit just to show you how friggin' cool. Because there's guitarists and there's rock stars, and then there's Tommy Bolin. That's what I'm talking about. Badass. The ultimate Tommy Bolin, people. Can't say enough about him. Check him out. If you dig his vibe, you're gonna dig Revolutions. Let's talk about Gary now. We talked about his G-Force Japanese album in my Desert Island, but I'd have to show you these albums as well because all of these are like my hugest influences on guitar. This window in Gary's career right here is right here. Let's just start here. This is the album I talked about on the last show. I actually talked about this week in some interviews because Bullets Ready, Kings of Thrash, new original single, top 10 on the charts, people. Getting played all over radio. So I did a full day of radio, and I've talked about this song. This is about this album is the beast that I was working on furiously, ferociously, trying to figure out every note when I got the call to join Megadeth. This is just a sick album. The guitar tone on this album is one of his best. Just too good. The songwriting, the remake of Shapes of Things, the Jeff Beck tune, Murder in the Skies, Devil in Her Heart, Victims of the Future. Forget about it. Empty Rooms, what a great ballad. And like we talked about last time, puts the ballad last because, again, we've learned as we're going to put Revolutions on vinyl, the closer you get to the center, the closer the needle, the less low end. You start losing low end towards the center of the vinyl. So you want to put your ballads probably last on each side. And we're learning. This album is huge, and like the instrumentals on Revolutions, and just come on. Gary and Phil. And this is like, I had this back in Ohio when I was just a wee punk kid before I even moved to LA. This is the stuff I grew up on, and this album is amazing. There's a really cool production to this album. You just have to hear it. The production is very different. It's got Ian Pace from Deep Purple on drums. Amazing songwriting. Great guitar solo, End of the World. He does a remake of Wishing Well that's so good. Killer. Corridors of Power, Gary Moore. All these are Revolutions albums approved. If you like them, you're going to like my new album. We talked about this last time, right, Ohio Players, and I showed you the beautiful, I believe I did, when bands care enough to give you honey-colored vinyl, right? I just had to show more in case you didn't believe me that I collect all the Ohio. I don't have all of them, but I'm working on getting all the Ohio Players. Look at this one, Mr. Mean. Right? For those uninitiated, I'm from Dayton, Ohio, the funk capital of the world, home of the Ohio Players. These are the guys that when we saw them on American Bandstand, on Soul Train, on Midnight Special, they gave us permission. Yeah, you can be from Dayton, Ohio, and you can make it in music. This one's beautiful. I just had to show. This is Angel. They always have the great covers, right? And there's Sugar with the Fro. That's the one that almost bought my dad's house right there. My dad remodeled a house out in North Dayton. And one day he comes home, he goes, Jeff, don't you like that band, the Ohio Players? I'm like, yeah, dude, I love, I didn't say, dude, dad. Yeah, dad, I love them. He goes, go get me one of their out. Go get their, and I brought the album out. He said, that guy right there, Sugar. He goes, he came and looked at the house today and he wanted to buy it. Because he had a diamond in his front tooth. And he go, and I thought that was so cool. I go, you going to sell it to him? And he goes, I don't know if I'm going to sell him the house. But I did ask him, well, son, if I did sell you this house, how would you pay for it? And Sugar pulled a wallet out of his trench coat that thick. And he looked at my dad with that diamond shining in his tooth. And he said, cash, sir. How about that? And how about this? White vinyl, what? Should we do colored vinyl for Revolutions or black? That is the question. When we're talking about cool vinyl, it doesn't get much cooler than this. An album from my childhood, Jethro Tull, Aqualung. You only hear a couple songs on the radio, but it's such a great album. And why I'm showing this, not only because it's so great, but look at it. You might have the Jethro Tull album, but I have the Jethro Tull Aqualung book. What? What? This is the remaster. I'm going to come. It's the 2011 Steven Wilson stereo remix. And they made this beautiful book. I'll come up and show and tell a little bit of this. It's incredible. And the production on this album, if you forget how good the production on this record is, time to remind yourself. You get the idea, right? And how can you not be excited about vinyl? Vinyl is one of the coolest things on earth. It's one of the coolest things in our lifetime, record albums. And soon Revolutions will be a record album. Huge early influence. Everyone knows Don't Fear the Reaper. But do you know this album? This amazing record that starts with Come on and take me away. Remember that one? Eyes on Fire, Shooting Shark, Veins, Shadow of California, Feel the Thunder, Dragon Lady, Light Years of Love, produced by Bruce Fairbairn. Killer. Look at the back cover. Blue Oyster Cult, The Revolution by Night. Just a killer cover. I mean, CDs, the music industry started losing it when they came out with the CD so small, can't read all the cool liner notes, no fun at all. CDs were no fun at all. Wonder what that's all about. I mean, in the 70s, you had Santana, Joe Walsh, Jeff Beck. 2026, you got Jeff Young Revolutions. You know what I'm saying? This is such a great album. I love Joe Walsh, Everything By. I got this for $10 used. Just a great album. I love that cover. How fun that must have been when he did that, right? Right? So fun. Records are fun. Music is fun. I love it. What is this card? All right. Everybody knows Cheap Trick. Everybody knows Surrender and Dream Police. But if you haven't heard this album, and I got to tell you, I was living in Centerville and I met this cat. He was a few years older than me. And his parents were always out of town. And he lived right down the street from me and took me in his bedroom one day, showed me Elvis Costello, this year's model, the Dead Boys, and this Cheap Trick album. This is the best Cheap Trick album, except No Substitutes. If you haven't heard Hot Love, we used to cover that here in Vegas with Jeff Young and Sherry. He's a Whore, Mandicello, The Ballad of TV Violence, Hello Kitties, Daddy Should Have Stayed in High School, Taxman. It's Rick Nielsen's answer to George Harrison's Taxman. And Oh Candy, it's Too Killer. And what a genius concept for a band. Two hot rock star looking guys and two total geeky looking guys. Actually had Bunny Carlos. I went to his farm and interviewed him on Music Without Boundaries. Did you miss that show? It was killer. He has the biggest Ludwig drum collection in existence, I believe, including he has the drum, the bass drum from the cover of Sgt. Pepper's there on his farm in his little Ludwig drum museum. I'm showing this album because no one knows it. My buddy Mike Varney, and although I can tell you Revolutions is far from a Shrapnel Mike Varney kind of release. Not that there's anything wrong with those. I love a lot of the Shrapnel stuff, but you know what you think of when you think of Shrapnel records. But I got to show you this because, first of all, the band looks ridiculous on the cover, but I'm showing it for two reasons. A, the guitar player, Jeff Mark, right before I moved to GIT, there's a song, and it's literally just Life is just it's called The Tonight Show, the second tune. The lead solo, go listen to the lead solo on that track, The Tonight Show. You're going to hear that this cat influenced a little bit of my fast playing style. I loved how his leads flowed. Just really cool. And do you notice anyone on the cover? Right here is Dean Castronovo. This is his first band, who's now the drummer and Journey. Dean Castronova from Journey, right there. He sings exactly like Steve Perry, right? This was his first band, Wild Dogs, and on Shrapnel Records is a Mike Varney discovery. And I heard Jeff Mark. I think they had one of the songs on one of Mike Varney's U.S. shred guitar albums that he put out, and I like this guy's guitar playing so much that I bought the whole album. You know. Also, when I was back a wee young lad, growing up in Kettering, Ohio, and playing in a band called Black Widow, my second guitar player hipped me to a guitar player, and I'll always be eternally grateful. He was very influenced by this guy. Hence, I became very influenced by this gentleman. I flipped that. The back of his one album looks like the front cover. It's so good. Huge influence, and a shout out to Mr. Robert Fripp. The two albums, especially this one, huge influence. Mike, he has just a way of his atonal playing, and look how cool. There's a young Mr. Fripp. The League of Gentlemen. This album is amazing. His atonal playing is a huge influence. Definitely heard a little bit of this vibe. This is Exposure. These two albums influenced me greatly. You hear it in Megadeth, and you'll hear it on Revolutions. I talked about this album last time because I recommended their second album, Rhyme and Reason, but I got to show this because I saw them live this tour, and this is the night I went after this show at the Palace. I went out to dinner with Dale Bosio and Barry Brandt from Angel, and what was so weird, people, we were going, and I don't even know who, maybe Dale knew about this restaurant club. It's in the Beverly Center in Beverly Hills, and Beverly Center is a mall for those people uninitiated. And you go in the parking garage and you park, and there's just a door. It looks like it's just a brown door on a cement wall with no sign. Could be a wall to a hallway or a janitor's closet. You go in this door, and it's a huge restaurant, and there's Sylvester Stallone and Jean-Claude Van Damme and all these celebrities, and I'm eating dinner with Dale Bosio and Barry Brandt from Angel, and it was pretty surreal. This album is amazing. All of their albums are amazing. Again, that's Frank Zappa's band right here. Warren Cucurullo, amazing guitar texturalist, amazing tones, now playing in Duran Duran. Terry Bozzio, of course, one of the greatest drummers. And I tell you, Jeff Totora, who plays on Lightning Rising with Mohini Day and I, and also he plays on In the Flesh with Rick Firabaci on bass and I always describe Jeff as a cross between John Bonham and Terry Bozzio, and I think it's a great description of Jeff's playing. And he's been here in Blue Man Group in Vegas. I point over there because the strip's right there. The Lexor's right there. He's been in Blue Man Group since it's open. So if you've seen it here in Vegas, you've seen Jeff play. He's the drummer up in the top. He doesn't have to paint his face blue. He's tribal. They do tribal paint in the upstairs. Color in Your Life. I Can't Think About Dancing. No Secrets is an amazing tune. Flash of Love. Go Against the Flow. Too many good songs on this record. Every Missing Persons album is so good. And you see where Gaga stole everything he knows. I love Steely Dan. I didn't get him so much in my youth, but as I grew up and matured, and they have some of the greatest guitar solos on their records. But this album, the production, this is Don's solo album, The Night Fly. It's just so cool. First of all, he's cool as fuck. And secondly, the album cover is just cool. It gives you that kind of, this is not my beautiful house, not my beautiful wife. It's just a great, well-produced album with great songs. IGY, Green Flower Street, Ruby Baby, Maxine, New Frontier, The Nightfly. Just a great record. And variety is the spice of life. I saw this album in the local record store Dingleberries in Centerville, Ohio. It was the big record store of the day, and I didn't buy it back then. And I kicked myself because now I own it on vinyl and it's incredible. Look at this. And this is the new release. And are you ready? Ooh, are you ready? This is why vinyl is so fun. It's on pink. Pink vinyl, people. Come on now. I've got Buckingham Nicks. This album is as good or better than Fleetwood Mac. These two were fully formed and just killer. Before Fleetwood Mac, this album is as good as Rumors. It's so damn good. Do I need to say more? I just got this one. And I think, man, I think this is also, let's see. Oof. Come on, people. What color should Revolutions vinyl be? Black, or should we do a color? That's killer, right? What is that? Like lemon yellow? Snake eye yellow? Super cool and great album. I love Deftones. Just a totally different vibe of music. They got their own vibe. Now, these two albums you're not going to have heard vibe of music. They got their own vibe. Now, these two albums you're not going to have heard for sure. There's not one person watching who will have heard either of these albums, but I got to recommend it, even if you just go find them on YouTube and listen to the full album. We had a day off in Frankfurt, Germany on the Kings of Thrash tour. We were in Europe for a month on tour. And our tour manager, Andy, took us out because he's German and lives part-time in German, although he married a Mexican gal and lives also part-time in Mexico. I digress. I think he just got his German citizenship too. He took us out and we went in some record stores and I found this album. Like the guy was playing it on I bought it sight unseen. This album is so great. It's called The Soul Motivators. Free to Believe. I mean, all I had to do was see the cover and then look at the band on the back. Hold on. All you have to do is look at the band and you know it's an album to buy. Tell me if I'm lying, I'm frying. This album is incredible. I don't even know where they're from. I just bought this in Germany and it's amazing. So good, this record. The Soul Motivators, Free to Believe. And now I'll give you another one that is so amazing. This album has a vibe that won't kill, and it's so different. It's so retro sounding. The production is retro. I don't even know what to say about this band. It's a trio, which is killer, and they're called Quartermass 7. Little Barry and Malcolm Cato, Quartermass 7. First of all, the vinyl is like super thick. Look how they did one side. It looks so old school, people. You got to listen to this record. It's so vibey and so cool. I love it. I can't say enough about it. It's just the coolest record. Look at it on the back. Amazing. So that's our vinyl show and tell today. I really like the little on air sign, right? It was downstairs in the studio in a box. No one's using it. So I said, I'm going to use it today. Want to see the scorpions? And then my new little buddy, I got a little 2-week-old baby, something you're going to see in a minute. Let me get out. First, I'll show you the little baby scorpion. Let's see how he's doing today. Here's a little baby. Here's a little baby today. Yeah. And just pick him right up. He's showing you his little stinger. He's being so polite. Yeah, buddy. Hi. How you doing, little man? And I don't know if it's a man or a girl yet because they're too young to sex. But there he is. Let me get him close. There he is. I'll move out of the way so the white. There you go. There's the little doodle. And just so you guys understand, animals aren't humans and they're not aggressive assholes like most humans. Animals are docile and peaceful creatures that, unless they're scared and fearful, they are so cool. And scorpions are the most sentient. I think they have ESP because they're not supposed to be able to hear, but yet they understand me. How about that little dude? How about that little doodle? My little baby. Right? Right? I'm going to look at some questions. I'll just have him on my hand, him or her. See? It's like he knows that I'm showing him to you and he knows he's got to stay still. Because, like, usually he likes to cruise around on my arm. But look how well behaved. Can you believe how well behaved this little dude? He's just like, show me off to the people, daddy. And again, I'm his person. He knows, just like as if I was a big, show me off to the people, daddy. And again, I'm his person. He knows, just like as if I was a big shark and, those little fish suckers that hang off the shark, or, the wild animals in Africa that have the little parasite animals that live off them. I think they think they're super cool. They know they're safe when they're on me. I think they think they're just little badasses because they have no fear. He's just totally chill, right? So that's the little baby. Let me go get Christina out. I just misted her down, so she should look all beautiful. Hold on. thing is trying to do a software update right now. Go away. Oh, hey, Christina. They're much bigger, right? She's moving around a little for you. There you are, lady. There's Christina. Much bigger, right? Look at my lady. Look at my little lady. Right? And I pick them right up, and they're so tame, people. Again, when an animal doesn't have any fear of you and knows that you're not an asshole, that you're not going to harm them in any way, look how cool life gets, right? The little lady. She's so pretty. Yeah. Let me try to make her walk around a little. I have to put the mic down. I'll see if I can make her stretch out so you can see how big she is. There's some big screen caps I took from the live the other day. She looks huge. And again, it's camera proportion. You know, you can see she fits in the palm of my hand, but in some pictures, she looks giant. See, when I touch her pinchers, she doesn't try to pinch me because she's not a dick, right? She's not a bitch. She's very sweet. I'll touch her paws again, and I'm starting to pet them with a. I'll touch her paws again, and I'm starting to pet them with a feather or a Q-tip to get them used to being pet. Okay, are you ready to see the new? I'm gonna wait. I'll wait for the new. Let's just look at your comments. And Christina can just chill right here while you look at your comments. And then we'll introduce you to the new baby. Hello, baby. I'll put her on my lap. So maybe there you go. Let's look at the chat here, people. Okay, the music. Sorry. And you see how easy she is to work with, you know. So, someone just asked in the chat about Music Without Boundaries. I did over 11 years of Music Without Boundaries episodes. And, I never paid, radio shows when they play songs, they pay for publishing for all the songs they play. But most of the people on my show were my friends. They deleted 11 years plus of episodes, but I do have some saved. Department of Defense whistleblower who brought down the Presidio Air Force Base. If you subscribe on YouTube to Music Without Boundaries, there's already some cool videos there. And I'm going to be adding some more stuff, and maybe I'll add some of that old content in video form with slideshows would be cool. Amazing drummer. Yeah, he played in UK a bit, Terry Bozzio, with Eddie Jobson. As a matter of fact, it was so weird, people. We were in Japan walking to a party at this metal club after we played in Tokyo, and Fred, our drummer, and I were walking, and we always break out in fusion, like talking about fusion bands in Prague, and we were talking about UK, and Alan Holsworth came up, and we stopped at a traffic light, and I looked at Fred and I said, I was talking about Scott Henderson, who is an amazing guitar player and a teacher at GIT and became my friend and just an amazing, amazing talent. And we stopped at this traffic light, and I literally said to Fred, if anyone is better than Alan Holsworth, it's Scott Henderson. And a dude, like, just standing at the traffic light, a few people away, goes, "What? Alan Holsworth?" And it was Marco Meneman, who's playing with UK now, the amazing drummer from the Aristocats, who plays with Guthrie Govan. It was Marco Meneman, and Fred's like, "This guy's one of my top 3 favorite drummers on earth." That's how good Marco. We brought him to the party, and he and I are best friends now. He's a huge Tori Amos fan. We came bros that night. We hit it off so big over Tori Amos and a lot of other stuff. Marco Meneman, if you don't know him, people check him out. So yeah, UK amazing. Of course, I almost showed to talk about it in the Dead of Night and Alan Holsworth solo. Can you tell me from Korea Daily News? Nice, we have Korea in the house. Korea Daily News wants to know how much I contributed to So Far So Good So What. I'll tell you exactly what I contributed. On Set the World Afire, I played the end solo. I did, so let's start the beginning. I did rhythm guitar on Into the Lungs of Hell. Of course, you guys see me playing it live now like this. On the album, Davis playing the lead, and he's playing it like this, picking. I came up with that whole tapping thing. I didn't really like the leads on Into the Lungs of Hell. I thought it sounded really sloppy, and a lot of people think it's me, and it kind of bums me out. But I digress. The first time I solo on that album is at the end of Set the World Afire, when I come in with a that's my first notes that you hear, other than the rhythm on Into the Lungs of Hell. I played obviously rhythm and lead on Anarchy, the middle and the end lead, and Mary Jane, of course, I did the 12-string guitar, and I did I think there's 6-string acoustic, electric rhythm, and the solos are all me. And 502, I did rhythm and the middle solo. And In My Darkest Hour, I did acoustic guitars again, and rhythm guitar and the solo. 502, did I do rhythm on 5, or what's after Liar? I did rhythm on Liar in the lead, and then rhythm on Hook and Mouth in the lead. So yeah, I played a lot on the record, and I only had 2 weeks to do it, and I never rehearsed with the band. It was 2 weeks, and we were on tour. I'm one of the most underrated guitar heroes, and I'm not going to argue with you on that point. You guys are rad. Thanks for coming to the chat. I appreciate it. Thanksgiving time already. Yeah, I'm already thankful for all the great donations on our Ko-Fi. Let me show you how you pick up a scorpion. You ready? And you'll watch. He's not going to try to pinch me. What you do is you put your hand behind their booty, and you just come, and he's just going to back up on my hand. And how about that, my little lady? Do you have anything you'd like to say to the people? Anything at all? Oh, my little beauty. Are you ready to see the new baby? The baby's so small, but so friendly. I've been taking, I don't know also if it's a boy or girl because it's so young, but isn't Christina just cool? And everything, they're the opposite of everything you've ever thought about scorpions. And I'll tell you, the ones from Arizona, they're called Arizona bark. They do have a sting that, if you don't want to be stung by a wasp or a hornet, if they were to sting you, it would be about like that. But I've seen guys on my scorpion. I follow a bunch of scorpion groups, and they handle them. This one is it's an Asian forest, and they live in the forest of Asia and humid climates, and they're very docile and tender, and they have ESP. Like for example, Christina, she went to her edge of the cage. On her cage, I have two doors that swing open like this, and she wanted to come out. When wants to come out, she reaches her little claws up and like, pick me up, pick me up. And so I was going to pick her up, and she walked all the way, and she got where she's in the corner of the cage like this, and the very corner of the cage is here, so she's not figuring out how to get up. And I said, Christina, it's on their Instagram. It's Scorpion Christina, this video of her doing this. And I'm freaking out. You can hear me on the video because I can't believe. I go, Christina, you got to back up and turn around. And as soon as I said it, she started backing up and turning around. And she's not doing it now because she's not retarded. She's not one of the cast in Idiocracy. She's smart. You're a smart little lady. Now, these I talk high pitch to them, and they don't have ears, but I think the high pitch, they like the vibrations. They probably like low. But my new little baby, I talk low pitch because they only hear low pitch. I'm going to try to show you her feet. I think their feet are so hilarious. They look like you just took a pencil and drew a little stick figure foot. So I'm going to put Christina away for now and show you a close up and look at her feet. And then I'll come back with the baby. And you already know what the baby is if you know the name of the Brazilian album I did. There's your hint. Are you guys ready for the baby? Are you ready for the baby? Look! Oh my God! I got a little 2-week-old chameleon. It's a little veiled chameleon. Look at this little baby. Look at the baby. And he or she is so cute. He loves me. He loves me. Come on. We'll show him how you trot. And watch how he moves. He'll always take a thought. Look, very careful when he walks. See, he'll sometimes, look at that. Look at that. He is so cute. You can't even believe how cute. You don't even want to know how cute you are. Come here, baby. Come here, my little cute baby. So the Brazilian album I did, we called it Chameleon because the music, many styles fusing styles. Chameleons change colors. You get it, right? How cute. This is only, so I went in to get crickets for my scorpion, and the girl kind of has a crush on me, and they had 6 of them. There was only 2 left, and she gave me this little dude. You can buy one. They're only like $60, 50, but she gave him, and I couldn't refuse. How could I resist this little precious? I can't name him or her till I know what sex he is, but oh my God, I love him. I love the little doodle. So we called the album Chameleon, and now I actually have one. And I didn't know, like scorpions, they can't hear, but they hear low frequencies, and They hear low frequencies, so I talk to him really low. You like her when I talk to you. Look at it. Look at this. I wish you could see its little foot up in the air. It's too cute. It's too cute. And he loves to be on me. I took him to Guitar Center. He just rides like this in the car on my hand. And he went to Guitar Center and he went to this other store with me yesterday. And of course, people love the little, yeah, you're so cute. And he's only 2 weeks old. They live about 6, 8, 10 years. He's got his one little foot up like this. And I forgot to show you. I did show you Christina close up. Hopefully, you saw her paws. But his hands are cool too. He's just got two that go sideways, but they can move him forward. Can you see his feet? I take him out in the sun for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the mornings. Watch, he'll just go right on my finger. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. There he is. So I have a little menagerie going here at the studio. You too cute. Are you too cute? Are you too cute? I didn't know their eyes, they can like zoom, like a camera has a zoom. Their eyes don't just move independently. They have a zoom so they can zoom in on their prey. And man, his tongue is long. And when he gets those crickets, fast. Like I filmed it and you can't even see his tongue in the film. You just see the crickets there and all of a sudden he's eating it. It's so fast, the tongue, when they get the cricket and bring it in their mouth. You're so cute. He wants you to help support his daddy get his album done on ko-fi.com/JYGTR. I got to sell a lot of albums because crickets ain't cheap. Well, they are cheap. Crickets are really cheap. And he also eats fruit flies, flightless fruit flies. But he already ate some crickets. I see there's still a couple left. Isn't he cute? He's being so polite. Aren't my critters so polite when we do them lives? It's like they know what we're doing and they know their own show and tell. You're a star now, buddy. You're a big star now, buddy. All right, people, I got to go play guitar and practice. You want to go on a walk and get a little more sun? You want to go on a walk and get a little more sun? Look how, when he's walking, he puts his tail so straight, like he's on a mission. Look at that. I'm on him. And I like when he walks sometime like that. He'll go, he'll put his arm out and then back, like he's double checking before he takes a step. Like he's double checking before he takes a step. That's how we should be as humans, more careful, like chameleons. We can learn from animals before we take a step and do something stupid. Check before you make a dumb move in your life. I think chameleons can teach us. Look how cute your stance is. What are you doing that cute on me, little buddy? I'm nervous. I got to go to Norway and Europe for 2 weeks and I don't want to leave him alone. I got to either take him to the store and let them take care of where I got him. And I don't want them, they're going to fall in love. They'll try to keep him. I got to find a friend that can, because he's got to eat twice a day. I got to find a friend who can watch him for 2 weeks when I go play with Kings of Thrash, but then I'm home the rest of the year and I can take good care, right? Scorpions are easy. They can go 5 months without food. They can slow their metabolism down and just chill. But this little dude needs to eat twice a day. Plus he has humidity needs, right? You want to go say goodbye to the people? You want to go say goodbye and then go take a walk in the sun and see if we can get, let's see if we can get up to 60% today, people. We're already at 58. I was at 57. Someone got us to 58. Uh, if we can get to 60 today, it would be rad. Come here. There you go. Oh, good job. Good job. Look at the little good job. Look at that little good job. Yeah. You like the little beauty? The lights, they make a little shadow on him. He just loves to cruise and he loves to be on me. So I'll just be working and I just let him cruise all over me. And of course, if he goes on black, he gets patterns. Hi. Let's look in the chat if anyone has anything to say to you, and then we'll say bye to everyone. And we'll do another update later in the week. Hold on. Let's look in the chat. Okay. Thanks for all your comments, people. People saying cute Pat. Here, go on my leg. There you go. Great to see me. Chameleon needs a bracelet name tag. I don't think we could fit a bracelet on. Look at how he walks. So cute, you little dude. It's an Aries too. Yeah, I know. From Korea. Killer. I love Korean barbecue, people. Great to see you guys. You can do it. There you go. Great to see you guys. Thank you so much. If you haven't contributed on our Ko-Fi, what's your excuse? We need to get this album done and out there. Right, buddy? We need to get this revolution going. Let's get this revolution rocking. You want to come on my hand? Come here. Come here. There you go. Yeah. The baby. Yeah. Just a 2-week-old. It's so you rarely see him this young. That's why I took it. It's like, it's so cool to have one from. Imagine how tame this little dude's going to be when he's grown up. Also, the little scorpion, because they've been with me from birth practically. He's going to be the chillest, coolest ever, aren't you? Aren't you? And I took him because, like, you've seen Idiocracy. Most of the world is in that movie. I don't want these cool animals with anyone that's in that movie. Any of the cast Idiocracy. A lot of weird people get animals and don't understand how to care for them. So you guys are going to have a cool ride. You got a cool life. You live in a recording studio, for crying out loud, people. How cool are you, dude? You're the coolest chameleon on earth. You're the coolest on earth. Right? Okay, guys, we're going to. Right? Okay, guys, we're going to see you next time. I got to go practice guitar and write this solo for Prodigal Son. We got 2 songs to finish, Prodigal Son and Lost in Texas. You saw the albums. If you like any of those albums, you're going to love my album because it's all that and more. And although it doesn't sound like any of those records. You're going to see some comments today. I've got some of the donors have given like little testimonials why they contributed. So look for that. Look for that. Actually, I'll read you one right now because it came in last night and I haven't copied it to my Facebook yet. Here, we'll sign off with this. This is someone who's heard the record. This person heard the record, so this is coming from someone who knows. This is actually David Elfson's manager. Ready? Revolutions feels more like a personal journey than just an album. Every track tells part of the story, blending decades of experience into something authentic and deeply musical. What stands out most is how every musician plays for the song, not for the spotlight. The result is an album filled with rich textures, infectious grooves, memorable melodies, and tasteful dynamics, while Jeff Young's signature guitar style remains unmistakable throughout. 5 stars, people. Can you dig that? You're so white. Are you trying to blend in with my arm? Are you trying to blend in with my arm? I always see I talk. I'm used to talking high to the scorpions. I got to talk low to you because you hear low frequencies. You're like the bass man. You like to slap at the bass. You want to go outside and get some sunshine, take a little 5-minute walk. All right, people. Watch the Ko-Fi this week. I got a bunch of cool stuff I'm posting, and we'll do another live soon. Some more show and tell. And I'm probably going to do a guitar lesson for all you guitarists out there. I think that'd be fun, right? Okay, we got to go turn off the live. Let's go. Ready, baby? Okay, here we go.